I hope everyone's doing good today. What I'm going to talk about is something everyone has that one thing that makes them happy, and that one thing for me is hip hop. Um, Hip hop is one of the most frowned upon types of music today, and it really bothers me. A lot of people think it's just a conglomeration of noises with uneducated words just spewed on top of it. And some people do think it's poetry. To some people, it's a lifestyle, and that's sort of how I feel about hip hop. Um, but I don't like by lifestyle. I don't mean that I live my life because of hip hop. Hip hop isn't the reason I live my life, but I use it as a way to express what's happening, what has happened, what I think's gonna happen, or what I'd like to happen. Um, and it just really bothers me that people don't believe it is music because I think it is one of the most unique and diverse forms of music to ever be made. Um, you can find it anywhere with anyone at any time. Like it is everywhere. It actually takes real artistry to make something, and if it wasn't a real type of music, it wouldn't be so popular. It it wouldn't be enjoyed or hated on, honestly, by so many people. I think of this as like celebrities today. Um, One of the main reasons they're hated is because of how popular they are. And I think a lot of people think that about hip hop. It is so popular and it's getting so big that they have no choice but to dislike it. And I don't understand that. But I like hip hop because it doesn't matter what gender, race, religion, or any of that. It doesn't matter. And none of that matters in hip hop because there's female, male artists. There is black, white, Asian, Hispanic, anything, any artist, any religious background of artists. There's Christian hip hop artists, and a lot of people don't think that. Um, you can find hip hop anywhere, and one of the things that proved this to me is my parents used to be missionaries, and we lived in Fiji for a while, and we'd go around to different villages and everything. And there was one time we went to this village, and uh, I decided I was going to stay. I was going to stay for a few days at this village, and everyone else would go back. I was becoming friends with the people at the village, and the parents thought it was a good idea if I stayed and maybe tried to teach religion to these people. But kind of the opposite happened when I was there because as I was going around, walking around, because they're a tribal nation, they're really into dancing and making their own rhythms and beats with their own instruments. But another thing I found is that hip hop was played a lot there. Um, Played by the ones who had the luxury of having a TV or a radio or the extreme luxury of maybe having a computer. But I noticed that hip hop was really popular because it was something they could dance to or something they could enjoy. And it was honestly I'd never heard it before because I was raised in such a religious background. I never experienced something like hip hop. It was honestly life changing. I didn't know what to think, but I knew that I enjoyed it. Um, and it kind of hit me hard, and I really got into it and started listening to it more. Of course, behind my parents' backs because they would hate it if I ever listened to that kind of music. But I learned that at a young age that there is no end to something such as hip hop. I think there's endless styles, forms or delivery. There's no artist who is the same as another. There is no song that is the same as like another song. I think that's what makes it so great is that the fact that it is different every time you hear it. No matter what you're listening to, it will be different. It takes real talent to make a music, to make hip hop. I'm not afraid to guarantee that there is a hip hop song out there for everyone. You might think now, like, I'll never listen to that kind of music. It's uneducated. It's terrible. It's about bad things. It's basically preaching to others about crime and all this other stuff. But I think you just have to sit back and actually listen to hip hop. Um, a lot of people think that real hip hop is dead. I think that now it's kind of up to how you interpret the beats or the lyrics that are involved while the music's actually being delivered to you. Hip hop kind of started out as a way to express like the hardships that were happening or the success that these rappers were and having, excuse me, and it turned into something much more than that. And I don't think that was ever expected. I think a lot of people figured that other forms of music had been around for so long and hip hop was just new and it wasn't going to last, but it caught on quick, and I'm glad it did. But there's hip hop is just incredible. You don't have to have a story behind it. You can have a story, and that's a lot of what people think is hip hop is the artists who aren't afraid to rap with a story. And I enjoy that. And actually, one of my favorite artists who actually raps stories, this right here is a vinyl record of Slick Rick. Slick Rick is one of the best storytelling hip hop artists, I think, of all time. And this just proves these two right here, what I just showed you, Slick Rick, the diversity of Slick Rick and Public Enemy. A lot of Public Enemy songs don't really tell stories, but because there's so many artists in Public Enemy, when all of them basically go in and say their different things, it almost turns into a story. So that, like the line, the whole way the song is set up necessarily doesn't have to have a story behind the whole thing, but once the song is over, you almost think of it as a story. And I think that's what's incredible about hip hop is how the mind interprets something like that. And hip hop isn't made by just one person. Hip hop is complex, very complex. It comes down to the producers, the artists, the ones who make the beats, the ones who have to sell the music, the ones who market it, everything like that. That is hip hop. It isn't just one person rapping over a beat. It's incredible how much work and effort is put into everything. Hip hop started movements through history, and not just in the music industry, but like in the public as well. Music in general is one of the most influential aspects of human life. I think hip hop is becoming one of the bigger influences in the category of music. Hip hop is great because it can come from a mind with one intention, but it can be interpreted by another mind in a completely different way. So an artist can say one thing and want it to come across as for a certain reason, but the person who's listening to it can interpret it in a completely different way. And I think that's awesome because everyone hears music differently. Basically, I'm running out of time here, but basically, hip hop is very special to me. And I hope that eventually in your life everyone can give it a try, because I think hip hop is probably one of the types of music that is never given a try because people all they hear about is the mainstream music that is made today, and it's hated on by a lot of people. But I think if you go back and you look at the older forms of hip hop and the delivery and the beats and everything, that a lot of people might actually come to appreciate it more. There is a song out there for everyone, I believe. Just give it a try.